Hi, and welcome to another episode of Richard and Paul Cook, ... So, we're here again with another quick recipe. We've sort of tried to keep the past few videos quite short, and we're going to do the same with this one as well. So this is another quick cook, and we're working with gram flour, which is chickpea flour, and we're using it to make a lovely, delicious pancake, basically, a savoury pancake, which of course using gram flour is gluten-free. And if you want to skip straight to the cooking part, then you can do so using the chapters. So Paul, gram flour, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, we'd never heard of gram flour. I know it was around, being used by people in other countries, probably.
Well, I'm sure it's been used for millennia, just like wheat has in the UK. And
So how's it made?
Well, it's ground up chickpeas, basically.
So it's dried chickpeas
which have been ground. Yeah, just like with other grains.
Just the same as wheat.
Yeah. And as you say, it's gluten-free, but it's a really good protein source.
Yes.
There's a lot of fibre in there as well. And yeah, gram flour for me as a kid didn't exist either.
No.
It wasn't in our house. I don't remember going to the co-op and ever being in there. And it's something that we've only really started using in the last 5 years, maybe a bit longer.
Maybe. I mean, I'd never really heard of it until you bought some and started experimenting with things.
Yeah. And this is a really quick dish. You have to mix the chickpea flour with water, let it sit for an hour.
We're going to be showing all of that though, Paul.
Absolutely, but then the actual cooking of it is virtually instant.
Oh good, because I'm hungry.
I mean, we're going to be cooking it in a frying pan today with a farinata, which you would have in Italy, socca in France. It's basically cooked in the oven, in a really hot oven, in a big pan, a bit like a paella pan. It's big and shallow, and it's cooked in a hot oven, and then it goes sort of crispy at the edges, and then it's cut up. We don't use our oven a huge amount, and it's really easy to do it in the frying pan, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today.
And I guess in a way it's kind of like an instant flatbread.
It is, and
you could serve it with hummus.
Yeah, or you can just have it as happens, on street food in a roll, and just have it like that. And I mean, it is tasty.
I mean, we tend to have ours with a salad.
Yeah.
Maybe a few potatoes, but it could be used as a flatbread.
Yeah.
Very similar, in fact, in texture to how the scarpaccia in the middle is sort of like a soft flatbread. The
scarpaccia is a bit like this, but with more substance, because it's got the grated courgette and the potato in it, and then it's got the slices of courgette and potato.
Whereas this is really, really simple with hardly any ingredients at all, and actually much quicker to make.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a few brief notes. Gluten-free, vegan, good source of protein, reasonable source of carbohydrates, low in fat. So, compared to wheat flour, it also has a low glycemic index as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So it's kind of a good ingredient. Some people don't get on with chickpeas. Mm-hmm. Some people can get a little bit gassy. I do occasionally if we have something made with a lot of chickpeas.
Yeah.
But hummus, I'm okay with.
Yeah, I think with this, because the gram flour is mixed with the water and then let to soak.
Yeah.
I think that also helps the digestive process, because part of those enzymes have already got going in the batter, so that when it's cooked,
so they're partially broken down.
Absolutely. So I think that makes it easier on your tongue.
Great, Paul. Thank you very much. And I think without further ado, we should get into the kitchen. It's your gig today. So we're going to let you get on with it. Let's make the batter, because it's got to sit, hasn't it, for a little while?
For an hour.
Okay, let's go into the kitchen. So we're in the kitchen, and it's Paul's gig today. So Paul, let's have a look down at the ingredients. What have we got? Let's close in on them.
We've got gram flour, half a red onion, which is being diced quite fine, and a clove of garlic, half a red pepper, salt, pepper, olive oil, and in here we've got some water.
So it looks as though this is going to be pretty simple to make, Paul.
Yep, in goes the gram flour. There's a few little lumps in there, but don't worry about them for the moment. I'm just breaking them up a little bit. And then we pop the water in.
So there's no adding it gradually then?
Nope. And just incorporate the gram flour into the liquid. And if you've got a little whisk, use your whisk.
And we will put all the amounts in the description box.
And I'm just giving it as good a whisk as possible, but we're going to let this stand, which means that the gram flour, the chickpea flour, will then absorb water and it will create a much smoother batter in about half an hour.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you very much, Paul. So it's been about an hour and the batter has been resting. So it kind of doesn't look any different to how it looked before, really. It's just exactly the same.
No, it's much smoother.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Before we had those little, little pockets of gram flour. You can see when I do that, there's no sort of splodges of gram flour up here now.
Good.
Right.
So what happens now?
Bit of salt. Just dropped an onion in there. Bit of pepper. In with the onion and garlic. In with the red pepper. And then we'll just give it a mix. Great, now it's time to get the pan ready. Oh, wait a minute, just a little drop of olive oil, about a tablespoon of olive oil in there.
Okay, so we've got some olive oil in the frying pan.
It's about a tablespoon and a half in there. Just turning that on. Just let it warm up a bit. Okay, that's running around the pan. Now let's get our batter in. Just turning the heat down a little.
It kind of looks like an omelette, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
An egg-free omelette.
Well, I mean, it was something that I was looking for. You know, when we started thinking how are we going to reduce our egg consumption.
So heat is down a little bit.
Yeah. And
now, Paul, don't tell me you're going to have to flip this.
No.
Well, that's good.
Just sort of
releasing the edges.
Yeah, just a little bit. And then we just let it set.
How long does that normally take?
About sort of 2 or 3 minutes.
Start dividing it up a little bit.
Yeah. I find in this pan sometimes the centre does stick.
Well, it shouldn't do.
No, but I find with this it does.
Yeah, I mean, I very often do the same with a big omelette, so I can flip the individual portions over if I want to brown them on both sides, of course.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you do?
Yeah, flip it.
But you need it to solidify a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a case of judging it by eye and by feel. And also, I think, more importantly, not really worrying how it looks.
Yeah. And also, we know that even though the burner cooks relatively evenly. It cooks one side a little bit quicker than the other side, I've always noticed.
Well, I think it's a large frying pan, and I think it occupies a little bit more space than a regular sized frying pan. And of course we're using a heat resistant silicone spatula, which personally I don't really like, but Paul really likes using them, so I would prefer to use the broken spatula, which you can see over there. I find that's perfect for things like this, but I guess if you're dividing it into small portions like you are there, this small one is a bit easier.
Yeah.
So you're flipping the individual sections.
And by this time, most of these have solidified quite nicely.
Yeah. And it's just a case of taking your time when you're doing something like this. And also you get into your own rhythm when you do something like this. You get used to how you do it. And Paul's cooked this quite a number of times very recently, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, so you've got your relatively clearly defined portions.
Yeah.
And I guess we just wait for them to sort of go golden brown now, Paul?
Yeah, and I will flip them again.
Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing them all browned. Smells good.
Yeah. And of course in this process the onion cooks and the red pepper cooks as well. And if you wanted to put your own herbs in it, it's tradition to put rosemary and things like that in it, then that's up to you. We've also done it with yeast flakes, so that has given it a little sort of extra cheesiness when it's cooked. So you can experiment. If you want to put small peas in there, or finely cut up beans, you could do that as well. But yeah.
So what you're saying is this is a good base.
Absolutely.
To experiment from. Ah, it's looking really, really browned now. Yes, that's looking very good. I guess it would be quite nice with some yogurt or sour cream as well.
Yeah.
Great.
Right, I think that's done.
We're ready to eat, I guess.
Yeah.
Lovely. So as we said earlier, normally we'd have this with a plate of salad, but we're just doing this for ease, and also we're hungry. So it's kind of like a sort of thin flatbread texture. You can pick it up quite easily. That's why I think it would be quite nice for a party.
Yeah, yeah.
With a dip. It's got a lovely crunch to it, gentle crunch. The peppers are nice and firm, but cooked, and they've got flavour.
Yeah. It's a great dish, and of course the onions and the garlic give it that flavour as
almost a creaminess to it.
Yeah. Which is interesting, it being gluten free, I think.
Well, like pancakes have as well. I love it.
It really has. I think I must have done this for the first time a month ago, 6 weeks ago or something. and
think
we've
it's a bit
had
longer
it.
than that.
We've had it most probably every other week.
It's really good
Yeah.
and so easy.
And the last time I made it, I got my measurements slightly wrong. I doubled up for some reason, not quite sure why. I think I was listening to something on the radio and it was frustrating me, and I doubled up on the weights. So I then halved it, put some into the fridge, and we had it 2 days later, and it worked just absolutely fine as well.
We'll put the ingredients in the description box below. You've watched the video, so you now know how to make it. And this makes enough, I think, really for probably 4 portions.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think it would work really well cold. I know it goes firmer when it goes cold. It goes quite a bit firmer. So I think it would be great to take out as a really good protein if you're doing long walks or something like that.
I think it would be perfect as a flatbread. And actually what you could do is use a smaller frying pan and do smaller versions.
Yeah.
Individual round ones.
You could also, do smaller ones in the pan. I thought about putting like 2 or 3 tablespoons down, just cooking that, and then popping it in the oven whilst you do more. So
Look, you see,
yeah.
you can hold it really easily. Doesn't fall apart. Well, you could use your crumpet rings
Yeah, I could do.
to make small,
Yeah, yeah.
like blinis.
Blinis, yeah. But it is a really good quick dish. I mean, you saw how quick it is to cook. You just need that bit of prep time an hour before to make sure that the flour and the water has really time to get to know each other and meld into each other, so that when you whisk again, it's nice and smooth.
So good. Time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Take care. Toodle pip.
Bye.